Okay, so a while ago, everyone, we did some surgery on the PC3. And so inside we went in and we replaced a capacitor. And this PC3 has worked fantastic ever since that time. However, so, you get to the ominous however, right? So as you can see, everything looks good. All lights, everything, no problem whatsoever. And, all the sounds, everything just are fine. But what happened, what I've noticed of late is if I go and maximize, so right now I have volume set on the amp, and I have the volume set here. You can see I have it not all the way up, because when I hit the knob all the way up, and I'll try and show you this, when I hit the knob all the way up, what you're going to see is you're going to see some weird numbering and whatnot come up on the screen. And so it's possible that that capacitor or something else is slowly failing on the Kurzweil. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to redo the surgery. I'm going to remove the capacitor. I'm going to put a new capacitor back on there. I want to see what that does, whether or not the capacitor just could be failing after a couple of years. And maybe it's just because they're piss poor capacitors. I don't know. That I particularly purchased. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit this volume knob. I'm going to push it all the way up. That's all I'm going to do. I'm going to show you the screen over here because unfortunately, with this photography, it's just not going to allow me to do both at the same time. But hopefully you'll be able to see something. And you see right there, all these lights lit up as soon as I pushed that all the way there. And when all these lights light up, now if you listen, I'm pushing down on keys. There's no sound, and all these are lit up, okay? So I'm going to back it off, and as soon as I back it off, the lights remove. So something in this, let's assume this is like a potentiometer, and it goes all the way up to, from 0 to 100 or something, this volume knob. This particular volume knob, and this isn't the only thing that does that, but this is one of the things that does that. It's somehow, when it hits that maximum, something's happening on the inside, and it might be a result of that surgery that we did before, or just a inferior component within the system. It might be the capacitor I replaced. So I have other capacitors of the same vintage and whatnot, so I'm just going to go redo the surgery, try it again. But one of the things you should know is once that happened, for me at least, you can see I'm hitting the keys and you're not hearing any sound. Now, I'm not getting any noise or whatnot. Now, I can hit exit. I can hit that. None of that helps. However, excuse me, I have noticed that when I go in, and if I go into the KB3 engine, it still runs. So if I hit the song button or the setup button, you can see now I got sound back. And in this particular instance, it doesn't look like the KB3 engine is activated. That light didn't come on, but usually if I hit the setup, it will come back. The KB3, usually when I'm if you hit the organ, or not over here, but from the setup, and then you hit the organ button, you can get in there and it will work. Now, if I go back to program, okay, so now this time I have sound again. So it's kind of a weird situation, and it's not uniform. Now the drums here are all working fine. Now I am at max, but again, there's something electrical inside that's just going a little bit crazy. I'm going to move the wheels here, and let's see what that does. So if you see the wheel move, but now look at that. I'm just moving the wheel up and down too. And you saw when I hit all the way up, I'm all the way up on this front wheel. And you saw what happened. It changed. It went to chorus something. That should not be happening. This wheel, you can see, it should say MIDI 1, but you see there, it keeps changing that. Again, so somewhere in this circuitry, something's failing. So anyways, I'm just going to try this one test to see if that fixes it. Now, with the particular wheel and moving it, I'm still getting sound from the unit. You can still hear that. The drums and everything still seem to be working. But sometimes when this happens, and when I raise that volume knob all the way up, and it does that, and even if I back off, I have to hit setup, or I have to exit it, or do something else in order to get sound. So yeah, I hit setup, went in, and I have sound here, you know, so you can hear that. But if I hit program again, right now I got no sound on anything. Now if I back it off a little bit on the volume, I realize this is all, and then I go set up and then hit back on the power. Sometimes it'll come on, or sometimes I can just rotate it around in there. Activating the KB3 sometimes does something. So if I see that activate. Anyways, so this is just something to be aware of. Oh, and so like even in setup mode, this particular EP, I'm not getting any particular sound right now. So this is just a weird bug, and it's quite annoying. So let's see. Oh, well, that one I'm getting sound. So it's kind of hit and miss. But again, I think it might be a capacitor issue. We'll take a look at it. I'm just going to go ahead and do, since I already showed how to do all the capacitor changing, I'm not going to put it in this video. I'm just going to show you this, and then if it fixes it, I'll show you the fix. All right, thank you. Bye. All right, so I did the solder and put it back together. Sorry if it's blinking a little bit, but it's working real good. So sure enough, it looks like that component was the problem. And the only thing that I have is, unfortunately, when I put it back, it looks like I accidentally didn't get this piece back on correctly, so I just got to retake that off and then put it back on, which is causing these last keys not to push down correctly. But sound wise and everything, it's good, everything's solid, so I'm not worried about it. Going forward, it should be just fine. I just got to retool that, or just take off that end cap and then take off those screws and just redo that part, and otherwise it's good. All right, sounds good. I'm excited. It was a little bit difficult because I had to remove the previous one, and if you have a desolder gun, it'd be a lot easier than using solder suckers. So just word to the wise, you know, maybe there's a easier way to get that removed. You don't want to, unfortunately, damage your circuit board. But so far, even though with the sun and everything, it's coming in and, you know, it looks like it's blinking, it's not. It's solid. It looks great. Everything is functional. The sound is fantastic. Sounds good. All right. There you go.